Live from Houston, Texas, the humidity capital of the world, it's time for Money for Lunch, where we feed your brain and your business with supersized portions of business and financial news. Now your host, Bert Martinez.
Hey guys, we're back. We're talking to Steve Scheinbaum, and Steve has been working with a company called Merchant Cash and Capital LLC. They're the nation's business cash advance funding leaders. So, you know, in today's world, we're a little strapped for cash. Companies go to Steve's company and they get some cash. Excited to talk to him about what they do. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So let me ask you this. What's the difference between, let's say, a merchant cash advance and a traditional small business loan?
Well, there are several differences. Some of the primary differences between a merchant cash advance or a loan are that a cash advance is a non-collateralized transaction. So unlike a regular loan, a person who's receiving a cash advance does not have to put up real estate or AR or accounts receivable or any other collateral that a traditional lender would look at. In a cash advance, there is no personal guarantee of repayment, whereas every time someone goes for a loan, they're undoubtedly going to have to personally guarantee the repayment of that loan. A cash advance is just so much easier to get in terms of time and the criteria than a traditional lender, because the experienced and more well-capitalized cash advance companies are used to dealing with merchants and looking at their cash flows and not necessarily looking at how much EBITDA or net income they may have to service debt service. And lastly, the biggest difference between a cash advance and a traditional loan is that with a cash advance, what's happening is that a business owner is actually selling future revenues at a discount to the cash advance company. And the cash advance company is taking a fixed percentage of that merchant's future sales until he gets the amount of future sales that he purchased. So for merchants that have seasonality or cyclicality, or inventories rise or fall, when their sales go up, they pay a little more because we take just a fixed percentage. And when their sales go down in a slow season, or their inventory is low, or the economy is just in a down cycle, the merchants pay back less, and it generally makes the product a lot more affordable than a traditional loan.
And is it faster?
As
far as getting.
Sure, it's infinitely faster. We can turn around. We've turned around transactions within 2 to 3 business days, from anywhere from 5,000 to 500,000. And essentially, within 24 hours of after someone giving us the required information that we need, we can get someone a contract and an offer and be ready to go.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, let me ask you this, Stephen. What kind of companies or businesses do you guys work with?
We work with just the widest array of customers, but the typical signature of our customers are primarily those businesses where the consumer is coming into a store primarily and swiping their credit card.
Gotcha.
So what happens is, B2C type of businesses, right? So, half our business is in the food and hospitality space. We fund, thousands of restaurants and QSRs, or quick service restaurants, every year. Personal services, from nail salons to beauty parlors, auto repair shops and auto sales is a huge SIC code or business sector for us. Franchisees of all types, whether it's something like Domino's or Burger King, or anyone that wants to open up another location. And most recently, we've seen tremendous demand from doctors, dentists, optometrists, ophthalmologists, chiropractors, who are just looking for capital and can't access it. We really don't have any restrictions on the type of merchant that we deal with.
All right, so you like the B2C space. Now, are you looking for volume? Because you mentioned, Burger King franchises and some of the quick serve restaurants. So are you looking for volume, or are you looking for a transactional size? Since you mentioned doctors, if I'm a doctor and let's say I'm an anti-aging doctor, and my average ticket might be $1,000. Do you look at that versus, let's say, if I'm a quick serve restaurant, my average ticket is $7? Does that come into effect or not?
It can come into effect. I mean, we're looking at businesses, and people in our space are looking at businesses of all those types. But certainly, we generally require that someone has at least 8 to 10 deposits or credit card transactions a month, just so we have enough data to see the progress. The size of the ticket is not something that concerns us unless we're looking at a business that has had a lot of chargebacks or problems with their existing credit card processors. Gotcha.
All right, so let me ask you this. Okay, what your clients, your merchants, what do they use these cash advances for? I know you mentioned expansion, maybe a franchisee wants to expand to another location. Any other uses that they may come to you for?
Sure. Yeah. As you said, expansion and growth in terms of expanding the existing location or the number of units that someone has is a very common use of proceeds. Renovation is a huge one. Just general working capital to deal with seasonality is a huge use of proceeds for us. So, for instance, most merchants in this country have some form or deal with some form of seasonality or cyclicality. So a merchant on the east coast of Florida is very busy from the fall till the end of the spring. But in late spring and in the summer, they're really hurting for cash generally. And It would be very typical for merchants on the southeast coast of Florida to come to us, in their slow season in August and say, hey, look, I need money to be able to pay my bills for the next 2 months because the snowbirds are coming down, the busy season's coming, and I'm gonna do fantastic once the season gets here. I just need some help in getting there. Or they need not to pay bills, but to restock their shelves with some inventory, or to buy a new piece of equipment. Conversely, merchants up in New England, we fund ski resorts. Ski resorts are busy during the winter months, and then as the spring comes, they're slowing down. They may have summer parks, they may have water parks in the summer, but from March and April and May, they need money to get through that period or to get their facility ready for the upcoming season. People fall behind on tax payments, whether it's sales tax, payroll tax. Things of that nature. So there is no particular use of proceeds that we require. It just really has to make economic business sense to us, and away we go.
So that's pretty interesting. I mean, bottom line, you don't care how they use the money, long as the infrastructure is there for you guys to be able to collect your money back. Like you said, as long as it makes good economic sense, you really don't restrict their use.
That's right, and what enables us to do that is because generally speaking, we're getting paid out of a merchant's gross revenues, unlike a lender that's getting paid out of their net income, right? So what we're doing is we're looking at a merchant, whatever the type of merchant is, and we're looking, do they have enough top-line sales, and how does their business operate, and can they afford to give us the 6, 8, 10, 12% of their revenues that they're selling to us? And if we determine that they can sustain that, right, or the use of proceeds will increase their sales, then we're good, regardless of what their bottom line looks like, which is a world apart from what a lender does.
Absolutely. I mean, sometimes cash flow, and I say this all the time, actually, that sometimes cash flow is more important than profit, because on the books you may not be profitable, but you have some good cash flow that enables you to do a cash advance with a company like yours, because again, the economics are there, versus but on the books you may not be, quote, profitable, right?
That's entirely correct, and our underwriters and analysts are working with merchants, trying to explain to them exactly what you're talking about. We think there are 3 ways to look at a business. A smart business owner looks at it. Hold on a second, Steve. Let me do this.
Sure. Speaking of sales, I gotta do a quick commercial, pay some bills, and we're going to come right back and talk to Steve Scheinbaum about cash advances and how you guys can get more money for your businesses.
Tune in Monday through Friday here on Money for Lunch, and check out our website at moneyforlunch.com.
Hey guys, we're back. We're talking to Steve Scheinbaum, and if you want to find out how you can access some of the capital that his company offers, go to merchantcashandcapital.com. That's merchantcashandcapital.com. All right, so you during the break there, you were about to start the three things, and then I had to cut you off. Go ahead.
Right. So what I was saying was we try to teach and advise business owners that there are really three ways that they should be looking at their business. They should be looking at their balance sheet. They should be looking at their income statement or their profitability, and then they need to look at their cash flow. And as you were saying, there's so many businesses that have a great model, and on paper they're making money, or on paper they're losing money, but they really don't understand why, or their particular model just presents cash flow problems for them. And so many businesses are just undercapitalized. But we believe that businesses can look good or bad on an income statement business or a balance sheet business, but that cash flow is probably the one thing that's going to let business owners survive or cause them to die on the vine. And that's really what we specialize in, is providing those businesses with the cash to help them, sustain their business through the slower times and really grow to prosperity.
Love it. I love it. Now, let me ask you this. Okay, it sounds to me, because you mentioned different areas of the planet here. So, are you nationwide? Do you work with companies all over the nation, or do you stick just to the East Coast?
No, we are a full nationwide business. We've provided 12,000 merchants with approximately 25,000 advances. We in the past, just by way of example, we funded a large chain of restaurants out in California, in the Downey, California area. We've given them 2 advances for $646,000 to grow out their franchise businesses. In Ludlow, Vermont, we gave a restaurant called the Killarney. We've given them a total of 23 advances. Gave them one recently, and we've given them almost $600,000. And this was actually a great story. Their landlord was going out of business and had filed bankruptcy. They came to us, and we advanced them. Unlike the prior advances, we advanced them money so that they could buy the building out of the bankruptcy proceeding.
Smart move. I mean, that's really a smart move for them, and luckily that they have a relationship with you to take advantage of that.
That's right. They called us. Again, we'd given this merchant 23 advances. They called us on a Tuesday and said, "Hey, there's a hearing. There's a hearing 2 days from now on a Thursday, and we need $120,000 to be the high bidder on this on our restaurant. Can you wire the money up to us?" And we said, "Sure, no problem." And it was great. And since then, it's been fantastic. I mean, similarly, there's a Papa John's franchise that I'd rather not identify by name, but I think he owns 23 or 24 locations. And Papa John's came out and said that they had to do a renovation for $10 to $15,000 a store. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but if you own 23 or 24 of them or 30 of them, it adds up. So he came to us. We gave him the money to do it. And, and away he went. So we are nationwide and deal with merchants large and small.
Great. And it doesn't matter in what industry. You just look at everybody. And I think, man, what a great resource for all businesses and give it, in all economies, but especially a great resource in a, down economy or a recovering economy. So, Stephen, I'm so grateful you're on the show. Great information. And guys, I want to give you this website again. It's Merchant Cash and Capital, all spelled out, one word, .com. You can check out Stephen and his company at merchantcashandcapital.com. Stephen, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time.
Tune in Monday through Friday here on Money for Lunch and check out our website at moneyforlunch.com.